Hello, in this video we'll be having a quick look at Pacemaker. To open Pacemaker, we go to Tools menu, GameSmith, Animation, Pacemaker. That will open the Pacemaker editor window, and we can quite safely dock that alongside the inspector. Here we have an empty scene, and I have a humanoid model in the scene and the ground plane, nothing else. This actual model is from the Unity starter assets, the third person character. But it's just the armature, nothing else. The armature we can see is a humanoid rig, must be a humanoid rig. It has an animator, but no animator controller is not required as long as it has an animator with a humanoid avatar. That's all we need. Root motion is optional, but it's quite useful, and Pacemaker supports root motion. So as I say, we can open up Pacemaker here. We'll pull in our humanoid model, and we'll create a save folder. This is where the output clips will be saved. I've got one here, animation, and we're currently on the bake settings tab, default tab. And here you can see the clip name that will be used to save the clip with. It'll then be appended with the type of animation, depending whether it's idle, walk, or strafe, will be appended to it. Let's just call this demo for the base. You can see here a sample rate, default 60. You can increase it up to 120 if you wish. 60 is normally good enough. An option to reduce keys, key reduction, if you wish, and how much that reduction will be based on the tolerance value here. We then have an export mode. We can export as a single clip. We can export split upper and lower, or we can have all three, splits and the merged one as well. So if you only want to export the upper body or lower body for any purpose, you can. And obviously, if we choose a split upper and lower, that's single clip. We can choose if we want full body upper or lower. Default, leave it on a single clip with full body. We have some preview controls under here and the actual buttons which will generate the animation. Here you can see the whole this tooltip. So every option has a detailed tooltip explaining exactly what it does. This is the same throughout the whole editor. Right, so moving from bake settings, we have our idle, or three animation modes. We have idle, we have walk or run. It's really one where we can produce walk or run animations, and the strafe or turn, which is either lateral movement or a rotational turn in place. So we'll see those as we go through. So look at the if we go to the idle tab, we see here we have a preset section where we can pull in a preset or save a preset. We have our preset folder here where we can save our presets to. I'll set that to our config folder. A preset name if we want to save the preset. And then we have the actual settings for the animation itself, the parametric settings. For idle, we have a breathe speed, which sets the spine movement to simulate breathing. Number of cycles, default to one. We can choose a number of cycles, and this does matter when it comes to random head movement or random movement generation, as we'll see. A start offset, which I usually set at 0. You can set it from anywhere from 0 to up to 1. So the animation will actually start at that position within the animation cycle. Also, generally leave at 0. That's fine. And finally, a ground height offset so that any animation can be tweaked so that it's in the position, the ground on feet. Or if it's a sitting animation, you may want to lower the animation. So you can use this in that situation. We then have the body section tab. So we have our head, our torso, arms, legs, and hands. It just so it makes it easier to find the exact parameter that we want to adjust. So if we look at head, we see we have a random head movement or a fixed head position. At the moment, we're set on random idle look. So we have our random head movement. Once again, they're all tooltips, so it tells you exactly what each one is doing. So here we have our actual weight, which is how much random head movement will be overall. And then in each for the yaw, pitch, and roll, we have a slider so you can set to say how much of that movement will be in each of those axes. Yaw, turning the head. If we only want it to turn, we'd just have um, yaw only, and we wouldn't have any pitch or roll. If we only wanted the head to move up and down, for example, we just use the pitch. And if we want a mixture of all three, we can set all three if we wanted to the maximum. The number of changes, well, as the tooltip says, will be how many direction changes occur across the idle loop. Higher values create busier motion. And this ties in with our cycles because the number of changes will be over all of the cycles. So generally, if you're going to have three or more, you want to have a few more cycles. Recommendation would probably be one or two numbers of changes per cycle. Torso, we have here pelvis bob, spine breath amount, so the amount of breath, apart from the speed, we have the amount as well, so we can modify that. Um, the arms, we can set the arms up. We can set up separate arm positions or both arms together, and we'll see this when we look at the presets. Leg section, where we have all our parameters for our legs, ankles, knees, leg twist, stance, etc. And the hands, where we control the hands, wrist up and down. If we want to preview movement, then we'll switch preview on. See at the moment the default settings on this. If you look at the head, we've got random idle movement. We can randomize that movement. At the moment, it's quite a lot because we've got three numbers of changes, and we've got full weight and full yaw. If we only wanted that to be on, say, turning only, we could turn down the yaw and the pitch, or turn them off completely. So it's only head turning. We could also actually have a fixed position if you wanted our heads to turn one way or the other in a fixed motion, either yaw or up and down, or even rolling, or a combination of any of those. But for the moment, we'll leave it on the fixed. Our torso, we'll leave as is at the moment, the breath amount and speed we have up here. Our pelvis bob, let's reduce that because we don't really need too much pelvis bob for idle. Our arms, we'll leave it on both arms synchronized for the moment, and we can move the arms up or down, front or back. We can twist the arms, or only twist the forearms, or a combination of the two. Or we can set the amount of drift that the arms do, procedural drift. We can set the speed of that drift, and we can also say whether they use opposite drift or symmetrical drift. At the moment, they're on symmetrical, but we could have that as opposite drift. The legs, normally for idle, will have them fairly straight, but you can set them to any position you want. You can change the stance. When you do change the stance, the angle, the ankles compensate slightly for that automatically. We can set our legs forward or backwards. If we want there individually. We can bend the knees if we want to set a pose other than standing, for example, crouching or sitting. And we can do leg twist. And we can move the ankle up and down as well. With the hands, we can also choose to control both hands together or separate them. At the moment, let's look at the wrist up and down, wrist left and right, finger curl, which would be most common, sort of clenched fist or open hands. And we can also affect the finger spread to open or close the fingers. And we have a separate individual control for thumb. Curl that around into a nice fist if we wanted to. Curl both fingers and thumb into a nice fist. Or if we want, we can do it on each hand separately. So if I only wanted the right hand to clench and the left one to be open, we can do that as well. I'll leave that on both hands for the moment. I'll stop preview for the moment. So let's have a look at a few of the presets we have here. Idle preset 1. I'll pull that in, apply. And then we can preview. There's just a very simple idle animation. Just some breathing movement, some random head movement, some small arm drift with open fists. Preset number 2, we pull it in and apply. That's just almost like in a stop pose. Very similar, just with one hand up, with the hand open, palm outwards, and random head movement. Look at preset 3. Apply. And just a similar pose, but with legs spread out, one slightly in front of the other. Preset 4. Apply. That's almost like pointing an instrument or a gun. Preset 5. Apply. Another similar, with the legs a bit more spaced. 6. Actually a sitting animation. So all we've done is raise the legs, bend the knees and the ankles, and lower the body using a ground height offset. We have a sit on ground as well. Apply. Actually sitting on the ground. So obviously the aim of the exercise is to create animation. So when we have our preset in, we can simply generate idle down here. And we've chosen a folder name in our bake settings. Our clip name and our folder will be here in our animation. So we can choose a clip name and then we can simply generate an idle clip. And if we look at it down here, you can see the humanoid clip. Generated down here. Let's go title. Let's put in our another preset. Preset 3. Apply. Our preview. Generate. Here we have our animation. Let's have a look at the sitting one. Generate. Sit on ground. Generate. So we can create quite a lot of different animations in the idle tab. Okay, well let's have a look at the walk run.